shit out, man. Another cow. Let me stir this shit out. Let me stir this shit. Let's see. No, you. Hell no. It's all about working. Now, man, I was. Sometime, man, I ain't letting no motherfucker get away with that type shit, man. I don't know why y'all keep talking about. You keep talking about making excuses for motherfuckers that shouldn't be having excuses made for them. I ain't making no excuse for no grown ass motherfuckers, man. Fuck that shit. I look at it like every motherfucker in life make their own choices, and they choices are what they are. You feel me? They are what they are. I don't blame no. I don't blame motherfuckers for the things that happened in my childhood. I don't actually been able to deal with them issues and move the fuck on. You feel me? A lot of people don't be able to deal with the issues in front of them, and then they pick up new issues over life because they searching for something that really ain't there. It took me a long time to realize that if you don't love yourself, you can't love nobody else, man. If you can't respect yourself, you can't respect nobody and expect nobody to respect you. You know, a lot of people just always screaming, "Well, I deserve this and I deserve that." You only deserve what the fuck you put out there, man. If you don't put out there that you want more than you got in your life right now, then that's all you gonna have tomorrow is wishes and dreams and hoping and praying that a motherfucking something fall out the sky and give you a blessing. When the blessing was gave to you when you woke up this morning, you feel me? That's what motherfuckers don't understand. When you wake up in the morning, man, you winning. Only thing you gotta do is put your motherfucking mind to the point where you know that you don't want to be broke no more. I know one thing in life, man. When I was growing up as a child, I went through so many motherfucking struggles that I didn't deserve. But when I got older, I bumped into people that had a worse motherfucking life than me, and they were doing way more better than me in life. And I realized I ain't had no reason to be trying to say, ain't, it wasn't no more reasons for me to say that I can't do this and I can't do that. You feel me? Because it wasn't nothing that I couldn't do. You know what I mean? If this motherfucker can do it, I can do it. You feel me? If that motherfucker can do it, why can't I? Oh, man, when I figured that shit out, there wasn't nothing in the world that could stop me. Because I figured out that I ain't have no motherfucking more excuses to say that I ain't gonna have this and I ain't gonna have that. Mm. I tell people all the time, man, I get on this internet to spread the truth and tell people things about my life. You know, it might motivate them not to make the same mistakes I made. And then, you call people out on the bullshit they doing in life. You tell a motherfucker, man, look, if you really care about somebody, you ain't gonna watch that person continue to do bullshit and complain about why their life ain't where it should be at. Because if I can see that you fucking up and I'm telling you you fucking up and you ain't making no kind of changes to change your motherfucking life, then evidently you satisfied with the way your life going, and I'm gonna stay out your business. Ain't no use to me saying nothing to no motherfucker. You know what they say, you could just scream and holler and you could tell a motherfucker what's real and what ain't real. But motherfucker gonna make their mind up and figure out what they want to do when it's all said and done. You know, it ain't gonna be no, oh, well, I learned this and I learned that. Them motherfucker gonna say, I learned the hard way or I learned the right way. That's how this shit go. You can't have it no other way. You can't. You know, the thing about people in the world is, man, motherfuckers don't want to ever be wrong and every motherfucker want to be right. Every motherfucker can't be right every single fucking time. It ain't possible. Einstein wasn't right every motherfucking time, so why the fuck you think I'm thinking that some motherfucker on the internet right every time? People don't question people when they say things that they feel like this intelligent words are great, you know what I mean, great inspirations. You know, people don't do background checks and say, well, let me see where they came from. Because you can look at some people and know that them motherfuckers ain't got that type of vocabulary or that kind of educational background to even be using them type of words like philosophy, or using things that, you know, I tell people every day, if you talking to people that's less educated than you are, you gonna seem like you smarter. If you talking to a whole bunch of young motherfuckers that's dumb, running around playing in the streets, they don't know no better. They don't know that the stupid shit that's coming out your mouth is stupid and rewatched game that other motherfuckers on wrote in books and shit years ago that was meant for other purposes, but these fools don't took them same words that was words in, you know, holy purposes when people were speaking to people around the nation about peace, and them motherfuckers don't turn around and told you folks like it came out their mouth. That shit ain't real. That's why I tell people, man, you gotta live a certain amount of years on earth to even have a conversation with me, man. Can't no young motherfucker have no conversation with me about life. And I've been on this earth 46 years and I done done it all, been there, been to the penitentiary, been in the streets, been shot, been stabbed, killed motherfuckers, you feel me? I done it all. I was a young motherfucker at one point in time and a motherfucker blessed me and let me know that shit, life gonna give you something better as long as you don't keep doing stupid shit. You know, motherfucker gotta know when to hang up the motherfucking towel and say, I'm gonna try something different, man. You know what I mean? I ain't never been no person that wasn't successful in what I did. Everything that I done, I've been successful in. Ever since I was 12 years old, man, I've been had to get out there and get what I need to live. Not so I could wear no motherfucking Jordans. I was getting out there trying to survive because my mama was out there on that dope and didn't give a fuck about what I was doing or where I was laying my head at. So I had to start hustling just to become a motherfucking survivor of the streets, man. You know, and a lot of people gonna say, well, you could have found other ways and other programs. They got a billion programs, but for a motherfucker that ain't never been taught to trust anyone in life, it's hard for a motherfucker to walk into a building or a program and say, can y'all help me? And then the thing about when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, black folk didn't talk to social services and, you know, cause you didn't want to get your mama put in jail, man. You didn't want to get your mama in trouble. You didn't want to get your dad in trouble. You know what I mean? Because you knew them folk wasn't doing what they supposed to did. Man, I every day I make sure that I take a page out of my motherfucking mom and daddy book of how not to raise your children, man. You know what I mean? Because my mom and daddy didn't raise me. My motherfucking grandmama raised me to a point where when I started hustling, she told me, man, you can stay here, but this set can't stay here. You know what I mean? My grandma was the type of people that she never committed a crime and condoned a motherfucker committing a crime, but she wasn't gonna turn her grandbabies into the police. She was not let the police come to my grandmama's house and tell my grandmama that they looking for a motherfucker. My grandmama gonna call me and tell me, look, the police looking for you. Don't come up here until you get that shit squashed with the police. Don't bring them kicking my doors in. I watched the police kick my grandmama doors in when I was 8, 9 years old, looking for my grandma. I mean, looking for my motherfucking uncles and aunties and shit, man. That was some insane shit to put a child through that type of trauma where you got the police in technical gear running through the whole house, pulling every motherfucker out in their panties and fucking drawers, standing on the sidewalk where they search the house looking for a motherfucker that don't rob or stole something that's your uncle, your auntie. You know what I mean? And I think that's what poisoned me against the police, because everybody was like, the police bad and this and that. And I was like, man, look, and then I got older and grown and I started realizing, man, them folks should have took them dumb motherfuckers to jail. Them motherfuckers wasn't doing nothing for us. They wasn't out there robbing and stealing for us. They was out there robbing and stealing for their habits. You feel me? It was time that I didn't even see my mama or my daddy for weeks at a time. And them motherfuckers ripping around in the streets. But I didn't know that until I started getting in the streets. And then when I was in the streets at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I started saying my mom and daddy more than I did ever in my motherfucking life, because they was running around like zombies. You know what I mean? And people don't understand. You make a motherfucking child become an adult, thinking like an adult, at 10, 11 years old, straight survival mode, and they ain't surrounded nothing but by drug dealers. Shit, they gonna take heed to what's in front of them. Eventually, one of them gonna get the nuts up to go ask one of them motherfuckers throw them a pack. And even if you a young motherfucker in the hood and you a good young nigga, them folk gonna throw you a pack, man. They gonna throw you a pack. You know what I mean? And then the first time you get that money, you start thinking to yourself, man, I'd never go hungry again. Because there was times when I was a motherfucking child, man, it was days that I was eating out of canned goods. I'm talking about, I ate so much motherfucking cream of corn and brown beans out of cans that I should have been a sponsor for the motherfucker, man. I'm talking about wasn't no warming them up in no pot, wasn't no motherfucking lights on. I tell you, in the project, the only thing you were guaranteed to have on was gas. Because gas was paid through the state. You didn't have to pay no gas bill. But if you lived in the projects, they cut the lights off. Motherfucker run a extension cord to the next motherfucker house in the project and have lights. They cut the water off. Motherfucker go next door, take a motherfucking bath before you go to school. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers in the projects, man, they maneuver, man. Them folk maneuver. Them folk, goddamn it, you can come over here, girl. I know I'm going to be able to pay my light bill next week. Girl, come on over here and your kids stay during the nighttime, and then you go over in the daytime while they're at school. You know what I mean? And then, because they knew eventually they were going to be in the same situation where a motherfucker might have to come lay on their couch for a week until they can hustle up that motherfucking money to pay the light bill. I pay the water bill. You know, it was called community sharing of motherfucking what you had. That's real shit. It ain't none of that type shit no more, man. Ain't no more of that. You see motherfuckers in the projects now, they stuck there. They ain't trying to elevate in life, man, because I could only see myself. I'm talking about I was raised in the project, but I ain't never lived in no project as an adult. But I couldn't imagine the motherfucking PTSD problem that I would have as an adult in the projects, knowing that every fucking time that you hear rat-a-tat-tat all motherfucking long, motherfuckers shooting, motherfuckers running them down the road, you know what I mean? I don't want to hear none of that type of shit, man. That's why I live in a motherfucking nice subdivision where you don't see nothing but cars running down the road during the daytime and there ain't no loud music. You know what I mean? Every driveway got nice cars like mine, man. Like mine. Everybody's house look nice, and these folks, it's one thing, when you live out in the suburbs, man, if you mow your yard, they mow their yard. Your next door neighbor don't never ever want your yard to look better than their yard, man. So you got to keep your house, the outside clean. And we ain't in no HOA, but a motherfucker keep their house clean and shit, you feel me? Motherfucker don't understand when you come from nothing and you got a home, man, that's a different fucking feeling, man. That's a different feeling, man. You know what I mean? Come from where you couldn't even guarantee that you were gonna be able to be in the same motherfucking address next month. And I'm telling you, the worst feeling in the world, man. I remember I got off a school bus one day, and so we pulled up in front of the projects, man. I could see all my motherfucking toys and clothes, our living room furniture and shit sitting out there in front of the motherfucking dumpster. Man, I was so motherfucking embarrassed that I ain't know what to do. It wasn't just the point that my mama got us put out. It was the point that bitch didn't even get nigga heads up to the point where I could have got some of my good shit out before it sit out there on the curb. Cause I did went on the curb, I ain't want none of that shit no more. I was so embarrassed I wasn't gonna go through and run through the trash. You know what I mean? You know, I understand that some people go through so much in life and some people go through bullshit and some people hit rock bottom, but you gotta get back up, man. You know what I mean? Motherfucker go through dark parts of life where a motherfucker feel like they can't keep going. And them motherfuckers say, man, shit, why should I squander my life? I take my life when God gave me life. Cause there's motherfuckers out here in this world that's waking up with diseases that they can't even understand why it's going on in their body, like cancer, man. You got folks that's really out here got real problems, fighting for their motherfucking life every second of every day. So ain't no way that a motherfucker ain't got no health problems, no motherfucking none of that should be running around here talking about they ain't got nothing and they need this and they need that. Motherfucker, you need a job. You need a job. You need a motherfucking somebody need to swift kick you in the ass. Man, I don't let my children or any motherfucker, man. I used to be the type of motherfucker to give a motherfucker money, man. I used to give folks money. I'm talking about it used to be to the point where I give an individual what they want. But then it felt like I was just buying love or buying relationship with people because as soon as I stopped giving them folks shit, them folks stopped calling me, man. Stop calling me. You feel me? I don't understand that where people feel like that it's a one-way street when you say you love somebody, I'm supposed to give you my all and give you everything, but then you only give me some pussy and some head. That ain't a fair deal right there. I don't know why people keep thinking that pussy and head is better than money, man. If all you bringing to the table is some pussy and some head, then you ain't bringing nothing else that nobody else can't bring to the table. I want a motherfucker that's gonna be able to bring something to the table to make the bag get bigger. I don't want for somebody to come to the table and expect me to feed them. You know what I mean? I've been through the situation where you go buy motherfuckers bags, buy motherfuckers clothes, let motherfuckers buy cars, and at the end of the day, when you getting that motherfucking money and you giving an individual every dime that they need, you assume that them folks is saving up for y'all. But in reality, them folks ain't even saving up for themselves. That's crazy. I don't understand why people don't understand. You gotta have some kind of plan in life that at one point you're gonna get to this and one point you're gonna get to that, and then you say you happy. My thing is, the only thing my goal is to make sure that I got some land. If I got me about 50 acres of land and I'm able to start going out there building houses for my bloodline to continue to have somewhere to lay their head until the end of time and be able to create some kind of revenue that pays the taxes and put that shit in a foundation where can't now bloodline of mine ever sell that shit, and then make it where it's a family compound where I can literally get buried on that motherfucker, bury me on what I got. I wanna be buried on my land, on my compound, and put a statue on that motherfucker so every bloodline that comes out of me that walk around that land when they walk up on that statue, they say, that's the motherfucker that gave me blood, sweat, and tears and penitentiary chances to where I ain't had to go through that. That motherfucker on that statue is my granddaddy and my great granddaddy, or my great great granddaddy, and he did everything that a man was supposed to do to make sure that other generations beyond him had somewhere to lay their head. Made sure that he made sure that every other generation that came out of his DNA didn't have to worry about growing up in the projects or growing up without the motherfucking nutrition they need to eat. Because if I got 50 acres of land, man, I'm going to have cattle. I'm going to have sheep. I'm going to have every motherfucking thing. I'm going to plant apple trees, peach trees. I'm going to make sure that the land provides everything for my motherfucking family to ever survive for and never depend on their other individual. Only thing them folk got to do is just wake up. Wake up. Wake up, go out there, milk a cow, walk a couple motherfucking horses, do what you got to do to provide for the motherfucking cause, which is the cause is making sure that the next generation beyond that motherfucker ain't got to struggle like now another motherfucker. And eventually, after probably 30, 40, 50, 60 years, my motherfucking compound would have been on turn into more than what I could even imagine, as long as my bloodline stay on the path that I lay out the plans for them to do, man. Because I'm going to make sure that they got enough money because I don't sleep, man. I turned this internet shit into like I used to be in the streets. I turned that shit hardcore, going hard. I ain't taking no motherfucking no's from now, motherfucker, man. I don't get on this motherfucker, and I ain't got no celebrity endorsing me or nothing, but I put up more views than most motherfucking celebrities that's going on tours, motherfuckers in big boy movies. I'm putting up way more views than folks, man. It's because I get on here and I'm who I am. I just be real and authentic, and I tell people about my life, and then my life reflects on a lot of other people's lives, and a lot of people ain't got a chance to even express the shit that happened to them when they was children. But when they hear another motherfucker's not afraid to speak about that shit, I used to be ashamed because I was like, damn, how the fuck can I even tell a motherfucker that I used to live like this and I used to live like that? You know, because I was ashamed. But now I'm proud to tell a motherfucker, man, I come from the projects. And them motherfucker be like, well, when the last time? Man, I come from the projects. I ain't been in the projects since I was a child. When them folks let me out the penitentiary, I didn't go to no motherfucking projects. I didn't do none of that. My goal when I came out the penitentiary was to figure out a better way to live and a long life to live, man. And how I was gonna do that, man. And then when I started having kids and then started having grandkids, shit. That shit turned the world upside down for me, man. It made me want to work harder and not even get no sleep. I didn't want to get none. I don't feel like that I don't done my job as a human being, as a father, as a grandfather, a great grandfather. I don't feel like I don't done enough to make sure them folks safe, man. Safe from not going having to ever have to stress about what they gonna eat or where they gonna sleep. I ain't gonna never feel like that. I promise God, man. A lot of people when they finna take their last breath, the only thing they can think about is the things that they ain't done for the people in their life. But when I close my eyes, as long as I know that I got up every day and went hard for them folks, shit, I'm gonna be able to rest in peace for real, man. I ain't leaving no motherfucker. Ain't nobody gonna have to go for me. Ain't nobody going. I'm leaving a legacy. I'm building a legacy and I'm leaving a legacy, man. I was never in the world want a motherfucker to only be able to tell my great grandchildren stories about me shooting at folks and how I was a drug dealer or no shit like that. I don't want that to be the highlight of the conversations that my children have or people have with my children in life. I don't want that. I don't want my children to glorify that because people don't understand one thing about people. A lot of motherfuckers in life, when they in them projects, and they granddaddy was a head buster, their daddy was a head buster, and they still living in them same environments. People be like, "Hey, little peanut, hey, little Junebug, hey, little Chris." They call them folk little because they want them. They asking them folks if they following in the same footsteps as their daddies, and some of them young motherfuckers be right in. They be on the heels of their daddies, and it be sad because their daddies come out the penitentiary and they don't try to teach them nothing but gang shit. And then you see a lot of these motherfuckers be out here robbing with their sons. These motherfuckers be out here robbing and carjacking. They 50 years old out here robbing and carjacking with a 20-year-old son. That's insane, man. Mamas waking their daughters up not to go to school, but to go to the mall so they can go rob and they can run up in the mall and steal some clothes and shit. I don't understand it, man. I don't think the world gonna be able to change until a motherfucker start realizing that the generation is warped because the parents is fucked up. But we ain't got to worry about these young motherfuckers now because they're eliminating themselves. I don't see too many more generations coming from natural motherfucking things. Because these young motherfuckers out here killing every day at 14, 15 years old. So they ain't having time to spread the motherfucking, they ain't having a chance to spread the motherfucking, the bloodline because guess what? Them motherfuckers killing each other off. Fucking each other. You got more people out here, this man on man and female on female. How you gonna make a baby? You can't make a baby out of butts, man. You feel me? And you can't make no baby for motherfucker dead. You got people that got children and they get lucky to have one motherfucking child, and that one child is the only motherfucking child they have, and it be a nutting ass motherfucker that go out there and get killed at 13, 14 years old, and ain't no motherfucking more bloodline. It's dead. Only child of the daddy, only child of the mama, and it's dead. But then you have the mama go on TV and be like, "Oh, my baby didn't mean he didn't supposed to die." He was supposed to die. Because anytime that you out there robbing folks, shooting at folks, eventually a motherfucker might pop your ass, man. You ain't gonna always walk away from every situation. Motherfucker told me a long time ago, and I learned the hard way. You ain't gonna always win every fight, either gunfight or fist fight. Sometimes you gonna have some losers on both ends of that motherfucking barrel, man. And believe me, I've been shot and I've been stabbed, and I don't kill the motherfucker, but at the same time, I'm still alive. And I'm gonna tell you that, don't now one of them motherfucking situations feel good, man. Laying in the penitentiary year after year, birthday after birthday, that shit is not a good feeling. You know what I mean? Knowing that you wasting every second that God's giving you sitting in a motherfucking 6x6. Walking around hearing other motherfucking problems every fucking second of every fucking day. Watching motherfuckers kill each other about cookies and cakes and shit, man. Insane. But the world out here, the free world really ain't that much different because these motherfuckers out here, they ain't killing about money, man. These motherfuckers ain't killing, they killing about colors, gangs, cars that ain't shit that don't even make no sense. You can't drive no car in the penitentiary. You can't drive no cars in the penitentiary. Motherfuckers out here carjacking at 12, 13 years old. I wish a motherfucker come up to my motherfucking window with a ski mask on, period. I'm gonna let that motherfucker go and I'm gonna make sure he ain't here no more. I tell the motherfucker, quick, man, I keep $5,000 in my pocket for one purpose every fucking day, and that's because if I'm in any state convicted felon with a firearm, which I am, I'm gonna make sure I protect myself, man. But I'm gonna have bond money to make sure I get back out. Cause man, ain't no way that we live in a country where these young motherfuckers walking around with AR-15s and goddamn grenade launchers, and they 12, 13 years old, and you tell me a motherfucker that's 46 years old that ain't committed a motherfucking crime in 18 goddamn years since I was a juvenile, that I can't protect myself? Man, you kiss my ass. I'm gonna protect myself until they throw dirt on top of my face. I'm gonna protect myself until they throw dirt on my face. Fuck that shit. Any motherfucker, cause man, you don't even gotta wake up in the morning and say that I'm gonna have this kind of day or that kind of day. You could get up in the morning and be a productive citizen, getting up, going to work, pull over to the gas station, get you a cup of coffee, and when you come out, your whole car surrounded by young motherfuckers. In your mind, the only thing you thinking is, they don't got no business being around my car. I got this loaded motherfucking gun in my pocket. I'm finna go get in my motherfucking car, and if any one of them young motherfuckers even flinch, I'm gonna shoot them up next to that gas pump, and I hope that gas pump blow up and catch every last one of them motherfuckers on fire. That's what I'm gonna be thinking. I'm not gonna be thinking, excuse me, let me get in my car. No, I'm gonna light that motherfucker up and let them know they were playing. I'm gonna let them know they was playing. You know what I mean? Cause you can't, man, motherfuckers be talking about, well, we need to build more rec centers and this, and we need to give more education. At a certain point in life, you can't change a motherfucking mind, man. If a motherfucker 12 and 13 years old and they already done killed 2, 3 motherfuckers, building that motherfucker no rec center ain't gonna do nothing for him. Cause that motherfucker got some psychological issue that somebody need to be dealing with him, man. You know, cause ain't no way that at that age you got that on your mind of killing people, man. You got, I'm gonna go out and carjack, I'm gonna go out and rob. Ain't no way that you had them type of things on your mind at 12, 13 years old unless you got some fucking fucked up issues or some fucked up parents. Because kids mimic their parents in the thing that they see them do, man. If a woman don't do nothing but sit around and got daughters, and them daughters don't see her do nothing but sell around and sell pussy all motherfucking day, then one day them little girls gonna think that that's what they supposed to do is sell pussy. And if a little boy got a daddy that don't do nothing but go out there and rob and everybody call that nigga Debo out there in the streets, then eventually they gonna call him Little Debo. Cause he gonna go out there and start robbing because that's all he know. You know, these kids ain't just coming up with these. So, and then you get these parents that know they children that's 12, 13 years old out here breaking in folks' houses and cars and bringing that shit up in their house. Them motherfuckers need to be goddamn it dealt with too, man. Because ain't no way you supposed to encourage your child to be going out there and fuck around and somebody bump into him like me and I kill him. Ain't no way you supposed to be encouraging your child to go out there and take a chance on stealing somebody's car, breaking in my house or breaking in somebody's house like me and I kill them. And not have no remorse. Why would I have remorse for somebody that came and tried to do harm to me? Why would I be sad if somebody came and put a gun in my face and I was the one that killed him first? I'm not gonna be sad. I don't give a fuck if it's a 2-year-old child. If that motherfucker come too close and be too aggressive, I'm gonna take that motherfucker as a threat, man. I'm gonna take him as a threat. You know? Shit. Ain't no way. If you hear about it like in New York City, man, you be seeing them folks. It's always somebody that walk up beside a motherfucker walking down the street and just hit them with a razor blade across their face. Ain't no way I want to live in a city to the point where you can't even walk down the street without worrying about some random motherfucker just running up behind you and you with a razor blade. That's insane. You know what I mean? Any motherfucker that want to live like that, they got to be crazy. I want to live in a country, in the country, where I ain't got to worry about no motherfucker walking down my motherfucking street because I own the whole 50 acres and the street is mine. You can't even see my house from the street. That's the type of shit I want to end up in. I don't want to end up in no motherfucking townhome in downtown nowhere. Because crime is a motherfucker, but crime is worse in downtown because people know in every downtown is where people come from out of state, out of country, and they stay in the best hotels down there. They go to the best restaurants, and you got the most homeless people to be in them motherfuckers, man. Then you got them robbers to be down there, them pickpocketers, them motherfuckers hit them over the head when they too drunk coming out the bar type motherfuckers. You got a lot of people that prey on the things that happen in downtowns of all cities, man. Because they know most people that go to a city and they go to a downtown area, them folk for to turn up. Them folk for to come out there, motherfucker, drunk in the motherfucker, and 9 times out of 10, not me. But a lot of them motherfuckers do what them folks say on them signs that say don't bring no guns in bars and shit. But I'm one of them motherfuckers, man. If I can't take something in anywhere to protect me, I'm not going in there. I'm not going in a restaurant, a bar, a skating ring, a church. I'm not going nowhere that I can't take something in that motherfucker to protect me from being killed. If a lone gunman or somebody get mad in church or at a restaurant and just start popping at motherfuckers, man. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I refuse to leave my life on this earth as a victim. I'm not gonna be a victim, man. I'm not gonna be one of them people that they read about in a story that say this motherfucker wasn't paying attention and this motherfucker lost his life. Yeah, I did this shooting in Brooklyn, man. Dude was standing outside the Mexican restaurant, and they said whoever it was dressed in all black, and they said he had to be stalking him. Cause they said he wasn't. You could see on surveillance, man. Dude stepped outside, and then dude stepped around the corner and gave him a straight dome shot in broad daylight, and people were just walking by. People were just going like that. Until dude got out of the picture, then they all started trying to help dude. These folks ain't, man, these folks don't give a fuck about the police. These folks shooting at the police. Shit. If a motherfucker, see, that's what people don't understand, that when you really out to knock a motherfucker off because somebody done something to you, that motherfucker ain't safe. That motherfucker ain't safe nowhere. In church, in your children's school, when you do something to the wrong motherfucker, man, that motherfucker ain't gonna let you get away. And the first chance they get, they gonna put your ass in the ground. They are. That's why I say, man, that's why I don't hang around motherfuckers, man, because you never know what problems other motherfuckers got in this world, man. Motherfuckers be on ran off with somebody's pack, or somebody on ran off with somebody else's pack, or somebody owed somebody some money, somebody on told somebody mama to suck their dick online. Next thing you know, you sitting in a restaurant with these stupid motherfuckers thinking everything good, taking shots and shit. And that motherfucker, somebody walking that motherfucker and light that motherfucker up like 4th of July trying to kill that nigga and kill you too. That's why, that's why I don't like going like to public, like restaurants. I got selected few restaurants I go to. You know, I don't like going to restaurants that you can come up there with a t-shirt on. I want a motherfucker, if I'm going to a restaurant, I want to go to a casual restaurant. I want to go to where people in the restaurant probably going to be, ain't no children going to be in there, man. No children. Meaning that I just got to watch out for these old stupid motherfuckers in there and I ain't got to worry about the children. Because there's one thing about it, two old motherfuckers get to arguing. If they don't get to popping to each other, they ain't going to do no fighting. Because they know they ain't going to last that long. And they ain't gonna want to embarrass themselves, so they'll walk away from an argument when it ain't just that serious. They'll be like, "Fuck you, motherfucker, you ain't nothing." They'll walk on off because they realize that shit, words can turn into motherfucking gunplay real quick. When you know, you know. When you looking at a motherfucker and y'all having a conversation that becomes a heated argument to where a motherfucker raising their voice, you can't raise your voice at me, man. You raise your voice at me, I'm gonna take that as a threat and I'm gonna blow your ass away. I ain't gonna give you a chance to get no motherfucking points off me. Oh shit.